As a dairy producer, your ultimate goal is to put the highest quality product in this glass. A big factor in preserving the quality of your milk resides within your cooling system. At GEA Farm Technologies, we know that the milk tank is the last link between the customer and the processor, the last link to maintaining high quality in an efficient operation. That's why we developed North America's most advanced facility dedicated to the production of milk tanks, from 1,000 to 8,000 gallon capacities. A modern 24,000 square foot center in our Galesville, Wisconsin plant features the latest technology and equipment to manufacture the new world standard for milk storage tanks. We utilize 2 5-ton and 1 7.5-ton overhead cranes, a 20-foot-long metal shear, and a 24-foot-long metal forming press. What's more, we employ modern manufacturing processes such as Kaizen techniques to ensure the most efficient production possible. The process starts with sheets of stainless steel and ends with the highest quality, most reliable tanks in the industry. On the surface, most milk tanks look pretty much the same, but there is a definite difference when you take a closer look. On the outside of a GEA Farm Technologies KoolWay milk tank, you see a polished stainless steel shell. But the real beauty is literally more than skin deep. Let's start with the construction of the inner tank. The inner tank begins with sheets of 14-gauge stainless steel polished to a number 4 dairy finish. These panels are connected using this Megatronic welder, made in Denmark especially for GEA Farm Technologies milk tank manufacturing. The Megatronic not only provides strong welds, it also planishes the seam for a smoother finish on both sides of the weld. This not only produces a high-quality seam, it also reduces the amount of time required for grinding and polishing. At the next station, the seams of this milk tank are ground and polished to create a large, continuous sheet of stainless steel. The sheet is rolled, clamped together, and welded into a cylinder using the Megatronic welder. Technology is important, but so is old-fashioned craftsmanship and attention to detail. After a tube is formed, we attach custom-designed aluminum bands to help the tank keep its cylindrical shape and make handling easier. Here's another example of innovation from GEA Farm Technologies. We built a custom machine to extrude the manway in the top of the tank. Using hydraulic pressure, we create a smooth, seamless opening. Another custom-made hydraulic forming die creates the drain area at the bottom of the tank. We pay extra attention to the inner tank ends. They are made of the same 14-gauge stainless steel as the tank sides and likewise are polished to a number 4 dairy finish. Unlike other tank heads, these KoolWay heads are hydroformed rather than spun for greater metal integrity. Now we're ready to install the inner tank head. We go that extra step to assure quality by perfectly aligning the seams of the head with the seams of the tank body. Using a specially designed turret welder, the tank rotates, allowing for a single, continuous, and smooth weld around the entire seam. Although our customers will never see this portion of the tank, we take pride in our welding and metal finishing procedures because we know quality begins from within. Inside the tank, interior welds are ground and polished to a sanitary finish, so it not only looks good, but it also eliminates any areas that can trap or harbor bacteria. Now we have a great-looking tank, but the advantages of a GEA Farm Technologies KoolWay tank go far beyond metal finishing. Look closer, and you'll see panels with a series of small welded circles. They define the laser-welded evaporator panels, a distinctive GEA Farm Technologies advantage. Sean Daly, GEA Farm Technologies Product Manager, explains.
The GEA Farm Technologies milk tanks use a 60-inch evaporator panel. This provides us more surface area per condensing unit. In addition to using a wider evaporator panel, we also use a laser welding technology. This technology differs from resistance welding in that resistance welding uses 2 copper electrodes to pinch the material together. The weld occurs at the material interface. The laser welding technology allows us much finer control over the heat and penetration of the weld. This control affords us the ability to create some very intricate weld profiles. The intricacy of the weld profile allows us to do things like circuit the flow of refrigerant. This circuiting affords us the ability to utilize 98% of the evaporator panel.
The fully welded dot on the KoolWay laser welded panel is stronger than spot or resistance welding used on competitive panels. In ASME testing, the laser weld withstood a burst test of 1,300 psi versus only 970 psi for a competitive resistance weld. Competitive spot welding allows a maximum panel size of only 48 inches, but the laser-welded GEA Farm Technologies panel is 60 inches wide for 25% more cooling surface area. What's more, the 4 evaporators at the bottom of the tank start cooling the milk as soon as it enters, which can mean an increase of 50% in cooling capability at the beginning of the cooling cycle. We pressurize the evaporators with dry nitrogen gas at 560 psi to create an 80,000ths of an inch space between the inner and outer surfaces for the refrigerant. We maintain that pressure for 15 minutes and measure any pressure losses indicative of leaks. The inflated panels are then filled with refrigerant oil containing a fluorescent dye to test for minute leaks using an ultraviolet lamp. Stainless steel refrigeration lines are then installed and the entire system is tested again for leaks using the UV lamp. You'll note there's a bend in the refrigeration lines. This horseshoe design works like an expansion joint to allow for stress-free contraction and expansion due to cooling and wash cycles. After the second leak test, foam spacers are installed to provide the correct area between the inner tank and outer shell. Another important detail, when we set an inner tank on the legs, we use a special rubber pad to prevent condensation from forming on the legs during the cooling cycle. Meanwhile, we continue with construction of the outer shell with sheets of 16-gauge stainless steel polished to a number 4 dairy finish, utilizing the same high-quality welding and planishing technology and superior metal finishing as the inner tanks. The inner tank now moves to the next station where the bottom panel and outer shell are attached and welded together. A plastic coating protects the finish during the manufacturing process. We then attach and weld the outer shell heads and invert the tank for foaming. With the tank upside down, we inject a foaming insulation solution that undergoes a chemical reaction when mixed, reaching a temperature of 120 degrees Fahrenheit. To ensure that the foam reaches the very top of the tank, we install hoses that direct the foam to every nook and cranny between the inner tank and outer shell. Even the legs are foamed and encapsulated. As it's foaming, we test the tank to find any voids in the insulation using an infrared camera that detects variances in temperature. Our foaming process ensures that milk tanks from GEA Farm Technologies are completely insulated. All GEA Farm Technologies tanks exceed the 3A standard of 13-09 for insulation. In fact, the temperature of the milk in the tank will not vary more than 2 to 3 degrees for 24 hours, even if there is no refrigeration. Testing continues with calibration for capacity to ensure every tank meets the strictest measures for accuracy. We use a 120-gallon proving tank and a digital meter, which are tested daily to be within 0.05% of each other. The tank is leveled and filled to the top. It sits for 12 hours to allow the inner tank to take its set, and a calibration chart is compiled in gallons, liters, kilograms, or imperial gallons according to your preference. After a thorough cleaning inside and out, electrical connections are installed. Then we attach the ladder, one more exclusive and patented touch from GEA Farm Technologies.
Our milk tanks feature a patented retractable ladder that, when raised, allow much better access to the milk tank outlet valve.
Thanks to the superior materials and workmanship, we can offer the industry's strongest warranty. Our KoolWay milk tanks are guaranteed for 5 years against refrigeration leaks, 5 years against changes in calibration, and 1 year for defects in workmanship or materials. We created the world's most advanced large milk tank manufacturing facility, outfitted it with custom-designed manufacturing machines, employed new technology to improve cooling efficiency and tank durability, all with the renewed dedication to quality in every phase of production. All to make the most energy-efficient, trouble-free, and longest-lasting tanks possible, so you can be assured that all the milk you ship from your dairy will be the best it can be. So to keep your milk as fresh as possible with the most efficient cost of operation, don't forget the last link from the farm to the processor, a new GEA Farm Technologies KoolWay milk tank.